Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come in, come in, come in. So, you guys, this is Queens. This is the season finale, okay? Season 1, episode 13, 2022. Y'all, the last one we get. I don't know if this show is going to be renewed. We haven't heard anything about it, so I'm thinking that it's more so leaning to no. But I did enjoy this series, even though there were some things that, wasn't the best and I wasn't that crazy about. Things got a little shaky there. Overall, I have to say I liked it, and they started out the episode killing this freestyle, reminding us of why we fell in love with it in the first place. I really do love Brandy's flow. I said that in the first episode. I love it, I love it, I love it, and I definitely would not mind a rap album for her. Of course, we're missing Bree still, aka my girl Eve. But I loved it. They were all killing it, and it was refreshing and did kind of take you back to, part of what we liked about it when it first started out, and I would like to see it continue. Okay. And then we had E-Rock sitting at the table, and JoJo comes down, and she's just like, what's going on? You're not usually down here so early. And he tells her he couldn't sleep. And he basically is looking at this little red box on the table, okay? So he is, ready to propose to our girl Naomi, okay? He want to get serious with it and make her his wife, okay? And so, Valeria is back as well, and she's letting them know that she broke up with the husband. I'm like, I knew it was too good to be true. He was a good guy though, and he did deserve to be with somebody that wanted the things that he wanted. That's the bad part about when you rush into a relationship and you don't know the person and y'all don't discuss, how y'all feel about kids and different things of that nature and lay everything out on the line. And she said she just really didn't want to have a baby, and she also didn't want to stay with him and have him end up resenting her later. So I think that she made a wise decision with that. And she said they both talked to each other, and they both kind of cried, and they both agreed to, go ahead and move on. So she's back out on her tour that she was supposed to go on, to begin with. And she's being really adult about it. So they're like, well, girl, what the heck is going on here? This is a new you, and we don't usually see you like this or whatever. So your therapy is obviously working. Okay, your therapist needs a prize right now because you are talking like you got some sense. All right. They also talk about little Lauren trying to get back into school, and she's, they like saying, wow, you showing humility, you showing self-awareness, like this is a whole new Valeria. Okay, you have grown up. You know what that's called? Growth. Right? That is what she's giving us. So she said, she told him the truth and she laid it all out on the line, and I'm glad that she did do that. I'm glad she didn't continue to waste his time or whatever the case may be, and either she be unhappy or he be unhappy. So I agree with her choice as far as that's concerned. I do think she could have spoke up a little sooner, so she wouldn't have been sitting there getting all them injections and all of that kind of stuff. But they were saying that they're good and they're looking to bigger and better things, right? All of them are pretty much in good places now compared to where they was before. And you have E-Rock and JoJo just talking about the next steps, and she's saying, she's probably gonna freak out. But and she's also telling him she hopes he knows what he signed up for. But if she's happy, then JoJo's happy. She wants both of them happy. So she's like, so what's your plans? And he tells her that he's a nervous wreck. He want to take her out to dinner tomorrow at the Res and then roll some dice. And she's basically like, come on now. He was like telling her that he love her, and she says, I love you too, Dad. And they doing this little handshake thing that they got going on, and so it's real cute, and it's nice to see how they are bonding. And then she gets up when Naomi comes in and gives her a big hug, and she's like, what's this for, what's going on? And they both like nothing. Then you had little Muffin basically sitting out complaining to Jill afterwards because she went and performed and there was only 20 people there, and she was like, is this what my life is now? And Jill is telling her she got to be patient, you got to start somewhere. And then these people come up to her and they're saying, listen, we loved your show, we've been into music for a long time, but these powerful messages that you're putting out now is really important. And they say they are part of the group that's reforming the justice system or trying to reform the justice system, and they could really use her voice. And they was like, we wonder if you want to come and have some coffee with us and talk about it some more. So Jill is saying, oh, she loved to, and she's just like, Jill, like, and then, she says, yeah, that she'll do it. She was like, where's this commissionary place at or whatever. And so you have E-Rock out with, Naomi, and she's saying she's chilly. Can she get his jacket? Of course, he don't want to give her the jacket because the ring is in the jacket. He like, this jacket? And she's like, you've been acting weird. What the hell is going on? You being extra sweet. You sweating. You buying strangers a damn bottle that's across the table. So he was like, okay, yeah, I'll admit it. I'm probably being a little weird. And when he asked for the jacket when she was saying she was cold, he's like, this jacket? She was like, yeah, do you have another damn jacket on? Like, what is going on with you? And of course, we know that he is extra nervous because he's trying to do this daggone proposal. And then when he finally sits her down and he's ready to, get into this proposal and whatever, Naomi phone rings, and at first she tries to ignore it, but then it rings again and she's like, okay, no, this is JoJo, and she's not going to call 2 times back to back unless it's something important. And so of course they go to rush home, and she's basically crying, saying somebody came up to her and gave this to her. And when Naomi looks at it, it is basically paternity papers from Cam. Okay, remember Cam had had bumped into them, I should say, and ate with them for a minute. And remember, him and JoJo had ordered their food exactly alike. And we also seen at one point that she did go inside of Cam's room after an argument she had with E-Rock. So we were all questioning whether E-Rock was really the father or not. And this has came back to bite her now, where he's all of a sudden wanting this paternity test to be done. And of course, E-Rock is like, what the hell is going on? Because he didn't even know that this was an option. And he's saying, somebody tell me what the hell is going on. And she's saying, I can't believe he's doing this. He's actually trying to petition a paternity test. And so, of course, this just puts everything on hold and, shakes the whole situation up or whatever the case may be. And, JoJo's confused and upset about it. And E-Rock, of course, is upset about it too because, like I said, he did not even know that this was an option. He thought automatically that, he's the father. And when he heard that song, he put 2 and 2 together and was like, JoJo is my daughter. So, of course, this is all bringing up all kind of stuff now. And, he loves her as his daughter and he wants her to be his daughter. And so that was a little sad. And then he was trying to hold Naomi and she actually got up and walked away. So not a good situation at all. But, and then he's looking at the ring like, where the hell do I go now? I was just ready to propose to this girl. So, this group that came to Muffin for help, they're sitting down talking with her and they're like, oh, well, you studied the bar, did you pass it? She was like, no, she didn't get to pass it or take the test rather, but she was studying it, and she was like, she just feels like she has been trying to do things with the criminal justice system, but it haven't been necessarily working out or getting the attention that she feels that it should and it needs. And they're saying, well, that's what our problem is, and we feel like somebody with your voice can make a big difference. And they told her they have this case with this guy that they feel is being wrongfully convicted that could possibly, end up getting the death penalty. And she's like, whoa, that's a little bit out of my league. Like, I rap about, drug offenses and petty crimes and stuff like that. I ain't never dealt with anything that has to do with, no death penalty. And they say he was, convicted on his 18th birthday. He's been in there 10 years. The jury said, that it was premeditated. He could be getting the death penalty by next week. His name is Ronnie Mills. And they really would like her help and her voice on it. And then she's saying, did he do it? And they're like, go see him and ask for yourself. And they basically gave him, his file. And so Naomi and Jill are having a conversation in the kitchen at her house about her reaching out to Kim and him saying that in a text, oh, let the lawyers handle it. And she, of course, is just saying, like, JoJo's not talking to nobody. And at the same time, she's saying that they're showing JoJo talking to Lauren, and Lauren saying, yeah, girl, they a mess, I get it. And she was like, do you really have to know? At the end of the day, you've been happy with the way things are. You have Eric in your life and stuff like that. She was like, you don't have to submit to this test unless you want to. He has to have your permission, unless he gonna climb through that window and steal one of your toothbrushes, okay, and make it go through that way. And so she was like, that's what you really have to answer, like, for yourself, because nobody can make this decision but you. And I thought that was good advice. And so, then she also told her about the fact that Eric was planning on proposing to her mom that night, but then of course they got the call and she's like, oh my God. So, and Naomi tells Jill, like, she just wants to be happy at the end of the day, right? That's what we all want. And then you had E-Rock sitting talking to Valeria, venting to her. So everybody's just kind of finding somebody and venting to them about the situation, because of course they are all feeling crazy right now, okay? And in the mix of, Eric sitting talking with Valeria, he gets a call. We don't hear who the person is or what they saying, but he's just like, huh, what's going on here, whatever. And we also kind of getting like a back and forth. We seeing Jill say, just give her time, talk to her. And we're having Valeria and E-Rock back and forth, and she's like, you've been an amazing father. I've been watching the man that you've been coming, and I'm really proud of you. And she's saying, he's saying thank you. So, when you look at how all of their relationships is now compared to the beginning when they first got together, they have come a long way. And we do find out that the call that E-Rock got was actually about them being inducted into the Hall of Fame. Okay, I'm like, y'all go ahead now. And we also have Muffin come walking in and saying she is going to take this case. She's going to be an advocate for it. She's going to try to be, get in the pill, get to talk to the governor. She's going to go and meet him. And so Jill is like, yo, you're going to help him? Okay. And she was like, listen, I'm going to try my best, and Jill is all for it. She's like, this could make a really, big difference. And so, as far as them being inducted to the Hall of Fame, they're excited about it, but they also feel like, which is how they felt when it was the last award thing they wanted to do for them. They don't want to do it without Bree, right? Bree is the missing piece. They like, if Bree come back and she says she'll do it, then we are definitely down with it. Because at this point, they want them to do it the following week, and they're like, why so fast? And they was like, well, you came back and you've been more relevant this year, and this is where, the way it is, and this is when they having it. So you got to let them know whether you're going to be in or out. And so they text Brianna and they waiting to hear back from her, and they get a text that says that she's all in. So we like, okay, cool. Here they go, getting inducted, and Bree's supposed to be coming, right? And so Lauren goes to meet with, this inmate and talk to him and find out more about him or whatever the case may be. And, I don't think he was really what she was expecting. Of course, you hear about somebody that's on trial for murder. You probably expecting them to be, I don't know, just like, all kind of scary, talking scary, looking scary. But when she goes there, this still just looks like a young guy. Remember that I think he's like 28 years old now. Went in there for this when he was 18. He actually sounds like he's pretty smart. They're actually laughing, having a conversation. He's like, look, I know why you're here. Danica sent you. I'm not going to do a pitch with you. He was like, they're executing me in 150 hours. I really rather not gravel. It is what it is. He was like, I'm excited to meet you, though. And she's kind of smiling when he says that. And he's like, you're just giving up. And he was like, look, I'm cool. She was like, but this case against you was thin. And he was like, yeah, but I'm still here at the end of the day, right? He was like, I spent 9 years, trying to get somebody to come to their senses or whatever the case may be. I've been in this small dark cell. He was like, now I sleep, and he was like, I guess he just basically have given up. And he was like, I bummed you out, huh? And she was like, yeah, a little. And he was like, well, imagine, being free of expectations, okay, and not wondering what you're going to be and how you're going to be it. And so he was like, maybe it's a little sad, but at this point, it's peaceful for me, you know? So it kind of gave her a different outlook as far as that goes. And she was like, well, I need to know something. And he was basically like, you know what? Was it self-defense? And, you know, he's like, yes. And so he was like, does it matter? The flight you considering is nothing, you know, about me as the next dude they put in my spot, you know? And we do hear a lot of stories like that. And so she basically, you know, comes out, and at this point, you know, the reporter asks her about what she's doing there, and she does speak out. You know, I think that her talking to him and seeing him made a big difference. At first she was like no comment, but then she stopped and was like, you know what, yeah, she was like, I'm appalled that in 2022, you know, a child can be convicted of murder with shoddy evidence and sentenced to death. And she was like, Ronnie's fate could possibly be sealed, and the world needs to hear his story, see his face, and know that all these laws, you know, have basically been blindly, you know, dealings and messed up with him or whatever. So Jill starts smiling at the fact that she came out and was talking, you know, speaking up. And then Valeria comes in. She sees Naomi having a glass of wine. She like, girl, is that a bottle just for you, or can I have some? She like, nah, you can have some. You know what I'm saying? It was supposed to be E-Rocks, but he outside on a call. And so she's asking how he's doing. She said he's good. And she tells him he's being a real good man. And she was like, I'm glad he really does care for you. And Naomi says, I'm really starting to believe that now. And she was like, you know, now she feels kind of funny, like did she make a mistake because Thomas came and picked up the last of his stuff. And Naomi was like, did you have sex with him? And she was like, no, girl, if I would have had sex with him, then I really wouldn't have been able to let him go or whatever. And so they talk about, you know, how crazy it is that they inducted into the Hall of Fame and all of that kind of stuff. And in the midst of them talking, you have E-Rock come in and tell them Brianna's not going to be able to make it out at all, okay? She was on her way supposedly to the airport and then turned back, but she does still want them to accept it. And they're basically like, hell no, we not accepting it without her. He was like, you know, maybe y'all could find somebody to fill in. I mean, she did give y'all, you know, basically her approval or whatever, and people do that all the time. And so JoJo comes down and says to you know, E-Rock, I care about you, I love you. She was like, I'm not sure what matters or whatever, but I know that for me, I feel like I need to know for sure what's going on, but that doesn't change, you know, how I feel about you. And she was like, if I don't do this, basically talking about the paternity test, then she'll always wonder. Okay, so she has decided to proceed with taking the paternity test, and I don't think anybody could be mad, you know, at her for that. And then we had Naomi sitting back in the bar, right? We didn't see her there in a while. This was where she would go and play her guitar and sing. And baby, was she freaking blowing it down, okay? She was singing her behind off. And we also had Little Muffin, you know, doing interviews, making phone calls. You know, they got him trending on Twitter. You got people talking about his case more. And you know, after that, she also went and sat at the Dagon's governor's office all day, you know, with her pearls on and her nice little outfit. And at one point, his assistant gonna talk about like your pearls or whatever. But they come out there giving her some bull crap about he had an emergency and had to leave for the day. So she's like, oh, okay, well, you know, can we make another appointment for tomorrow? And the lady talking about, no, I'm sorry, he not gonna have time. So she was like, okay, well, let him know that you know, him wasting my time and having me sit here all day, people gonna hear about it and all of this other kind of stuff. And his assistant is like, I'm sure he knows everything that could happen, and you know what what he will hear about and not hear about. And I'm like, okay, girl. So of course this has disgusted, you know, Little Muffin. That's understandable. She feels very discouraged now. She's ticked off. She just wants to give up. You know, Jill is still just going at her hard that she can't give up, and she still got to fight. And she's like, why you keep, you know, pushing me? Why you trying to get me to do this so bad, or whatever the case may be? And Jill just feels like she is the person that could do this if anybody can, all right? And so then, you know, they were saying that Lauryn Hill people won't stop blowing them up. You know, Missy's in it, and, you know, Naomi, you know, E-Rock is telling them this as far as the Hall of Fame thing. They talking about some maybe Cardi or Megan. I'm like, stop it. And they just saying, why not celebrate what we've done and what we built for all these years. And we do have Bree, support or whatever the case may be, even though she can't be there with us and we would rather she be there with us. We earned this. This is our history. And so they was like, come on, I think that we should go ahead and do this. And she was like, I want to give the Bree to somebody Bree spot to somebody that's family. And so they go ahead to give it to Little Muffin, okay, and just ask her to step in. And Little Muffin is like, I'm not no Bree. And they was like, we know you not, nobody is, but if there was anybody else that we would need to be there, it would be you out of everybody. And it does make the most sense, okay? She's the one that basically brought them back out and had them join her tour and all of that in the beginning. And of course, this brings a tear to her eyes. They also telling her not to give up on Ronnie. And then you had Lady Z there giving them a tribute, talking on stage. You had Trina in a video message talking about them and saying how great they are. And then we had Miss Bree come through on video too, okay? She wasn't there in person, but she did send a video and just was like, I love you girls, I'm so proud of y'all. And of course she had to throw in there, and y'all got me shot, okay? But y'all still my, queens. And she was like, I started out a nasty bitch, but now I'm a queen. So it was cute for what it was. And then of course they go out to perform, and they started out with Little Muffin. She walks on the stage and she just talks about, they have different numbers flashing behind her, and she speaks on the fact that there's 1,000 and something people that get arrested. There's another 200 and something that go through wrongful convictions. And she's saying these are not numbers, these are people. And she puts up Ronnie Mills' picture behind her. She says, this is Ronnie Mills, 28 years old. He's been in prison since he's 18, and he's going to be exonerated in a few days. His life deserves some hope. And she puts up the governor's number behind her and was like, this is the cell phone number of the governor of Nevada, okay? I need y'all to call him and call this number as much as you can. Don't stop calling, okay? And let him know that in this land right here, we do not execute innocent people. So Little Muffin is trying to stand up, okay, and use her voice, and I love it. And then they all just come out and perform. After that, they going into different songs, and they all killing it. They all looking good. Before Naomi goes to do her part, she's looking because she's seen that JoJo had went off the stage at one point. And then when she comes back, she sees her showing E-Rock the phone. You see him all smiling and giddy, so you know that the answer is he is the father, y'all, okay? And so that makes her feel good and comfortable, and she go ahead to kill her performance after seeing that. And as soon as he comes off the stage, as soon as they come off the stage, rather, E-Rock does get to fulfill his proposal. She was like, well, what the hell are you doing or whatever? And he's like, girl, I'm trying to damn propose to you, okay? I've been trying to do this for the longest, This is how I felt about you in 1999. This is how I feel about you today. And this is how I will feel about you forever. And of course, they had left us on a cliffhanger when he asked her to marry him. She was looking like she wasn't too sure about it. It was like it went to commercial, and I'm like, oh, come on, y'all, stop playing. But when we came back from commercial, they were getting married, okay? They were getting married. She was looking all cute with her little white dress on. Her daughter was walking her down the aisle talking about, mommy, don't mess this up. She was like, all right now, don't be funny with me. And, they just looked all really, really happy. And it was good to see them happy. It was good to see them together looking beautiful. Valeria was crying. At first when E-Rock is singing his vows to her, she talking about, okay, you're a little corny, but that's part of what I like about you. And so when they're sitting around talking at the table, Naomi is saying, I'm happy, I'm at peace. Valeria is saying her tour is going good. She's been killing it. Jill is signing more acts than they can handle with the Nasty Girls record label. Little Muffin announces that she got accepted into school. She just didn't want to tell them anything and overshadow, them planning their wedding and all of that. And so it seems to be good news all around. Valeria is saying, even though everything is good and I like being on tour, I do miss us all being out there together. It's still nothing that's like that. and they get a message from Bree because they were saying she's the only thing that's missing. And she sends a picture, and they like, okay, what the hell is that supposed to mean? I'm thinking it was a picture of all of them. And we go from that to seeing that they are performing at Madison Square Garden together. It says Queens and it says 2022, which was what, of course, the name of the episode was. And then they're shining a light on each one, singing each one's name. And before it can get to Bree's name, it's just in and it cut off. So again, I would love to see this have a season 2. I would love to see Eve come back and to play with it. I know she took time off because she's a first time mom. But if that could happen, I would love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. That was the episode. Y'all tell me in the comments how y'all felt about this episode, how y'all felt about this season. If you would like to see a season 2 come or not and all of that good stuff, let's discuss it, okay? Like, share, comment, subscribe, okay? Till next time, toodaloo.